Hey everyone and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where today it is time for our level 53 Carpenter quest. Minion roulette for today gives us the Piggy, hello there. Vaguely disturbing, to be honest. It's something about the eyes. Hello Barthovieu. You can see the ambition burning in Barthovieu's eyes. Oh my goodness. Enunciation. Barthovieu's eyes. Got it that time. And we're gonna be mostly just getting equipment from this one. Equipment that we don't need because we're gonna make it ourselves. I was about to look for you. I've been checking the markets and by my reckoning, I have enough to pay for the best Holy Cedar composite bow you can fashion. If you'll allow me a discount. I had to kill a number of lesser dragons for this coin. The pay is shite since any fool with a pointed stick can do for them. The real money's in the greater Dravanians. 'Tis where the glory is too. A proper bow will let me take one's head and win my knighthood with any luck. I ask you on bended knee, friend. Accept what I can pay and make me a fine bow. Dang it, he stood up too soon. That would have made it. I was about to turn off the UI because that would have been a great thumbnail shot. Ah, dang it. Oh well. Alright, let's go ahead and make ourselves the bow. I'll go ahead and let my macro craft this while we go over the ingredients. First off, for timed gathering in the churning mist, cannot access this one yet, so I just went ahead and bought it off the market board. We need 2 Dravanian mistletoe. The other time botany that we can get is 1 Curthin tea leaves in the Curthin Western Highlands. In the Central Shroud, we can use our botany for 2 cotton bull. In Southern Thanalan, we can use mining for 2 mithril ore. In the Dravanian Forelands, we can use mining for 2 Dravanian spring water. In the Curthis Western Highlands, we can use our botany for 3 rainbow cotton bull, 5 cedar logs and 1 cedar branch, and our mining for 10 mithrite sand and 8 mithrite ore. Finally, we can fight wyverns in the southwestern regions of the Dravanian Forelands for 3 wyvern skins. From there, we can do our pre-crafts. As a carpenter, we can make 1 cedar lumber. As a blacksmith, armor, or goldsmith, we can make 2 mithrite nuggets. And then 2 mithrite ingots. As a leather worker, we can make 1 wyvern leather. As a weaver, we can make 1 rainbow thread. As an alchemist, 1 craft of holy water for 2 total. As a carpenter again, 1 holy cedar lumber, and from that we can finally make our holy cedar composite bow. Awesome, let's go ahead and hand this over. I've long dreamed of owning a fine holy cedar composite bow. Please adventure. Hopefully this gives you the edge you need in the fight against the Dravanians. Why, it's as light as a feather. Even in mail, my arm will never tire while holding it. And the draw weight's thrice that of my last bow. Aye, this will fling a heavy broadhead a good 200 yalms. Thank you, my friend. To tell the truth, I don't mean to hunt just any dragon. I've got a target in mind. Barthovieu. Bastard might as well be covered in steel armor. Even knights can't pierce a scale with their lances, let alone their arrows. But a well-aimed shot from this bow might slide between his plates. He's woken from a long sleep, you see. Last time he did, he left a trail of corpses. Barthovieu's head will win me my knighthood, and a better life for my boy. Not that Philippali sees it that way. Could you call him adventure? He's always away from home these days. Spends all his time hunting out near the manufactory. Alright, let's go pick up your child, Philippali. I can't help but feel like the double L has a different sound. Whatever. Doesn't matter too much. I openly welcome any corrections to my pronunciations, but I've also been told that the Ishgardian names are a bastardization of the French language, so it probably doesn't matter all that much to anybody. Alright, let's go find Philippali. There you are. Having fun on the bridge? What are you spying on? Shh, can't you see I'm busy hunting? These birds come into the city to avoid the winds. They're easy to catch even without a bow. I just lay out traps for them. Father wants me to come home? No, he keeps leaving to fight dragons no matter how many times he gets hurt. I don't want to see him. Yeah, that's a very fair point. That is the eternal struggle of parenthood. On the one hand, doing your best to earn the money that your kid needs to survive and have a good life, a decent life that they deserve. On the other hand, that means being away from your kid and all they want is your presence. It is a horrible struggle. No luck. Sorry to have put you through that. I just wanted to see his face before I left. But no matter, I'm off to hunt, and if the gods are good, I'll have slain Nguru Vilu. Gosh, Nguru Vilu. That double consonant is getting me. I'm pretty sure that is an actual sound. It's just one that in my language usually comes at the end of words, not at the beginning. Nguru Vilu. I gotta keep practicing these words. By the time we meet next. Alright, I'm gonna claim that silver piece because I do not need your gear. Thank you very much. Best of luck with your hunt. Yeah, I'm used to that sound coming at the end of words. Like in the word thing. So, at the end of words, I can get that just fine. But at the beginning of words, it doesn't feel right. So I instinctively try to add just a random vowel in there. And that's not how it's pronounced. Alright, now that that's done, best of luck to you on your hunt. I'm going to go ahead and get my crafting list ready, and then we can get started on our crafting for today. Alright, so while we are crafting, let's go over the ingredient list that we need for this. So, in terms of crystals, we're going to need 35 water shards, 33 fire crystals, 30 ice crystals, 136 wind crystals, 8 earth crystals, 2 lightning crystals, and 42 water crystals. Next up, we're going to have the timed gathering. In Eastern Lenosha, we can use timed mining for 6 volcanic rock salt. In Kurthus Central Highlands, we can use timed mining for 2 astral rock. And in the Churning Mist, we can use timed botany for 20 Dravanian mistletoe. I cannot reach that yet, so I just went ahead and bought 20 Dravanian mistletoe off the market board. Next up, moving on to the regular gathering, we have in South Shroud, botany for 10 flax. In Western Thanalin, mining for 3 iron ore and 6 cinnabar. In Eastern Thanalin, mining for 8 raw amber. In Southern Thanalin, mining for 4 mithril ore. Northern Thanalin, mining for 3 grenade ash. In the Kurthus Western Highlands, we have mining for 20 mithrite sand and botany for 70 cedar logs. And in the Dravanian Forelands, we have mining for 15 titanium ore, mining for 20 Dravanian spring water, and then botany for 3 stalks of Rami, 17 dark chestnut logs, and 3 dark chestnut branches. Also worth noting, I did include enough materials on here to make 2 of the rings that appear, so you don't need to go out and collect extras for those. Alright, in terms of enemy drops, let's see. Actually, let's start off with the Grand Company trades. For 400 total Grand Company seals, you can get 2 pudding flesh. Now we can move on to enemy drops. From ice traps in the Kurthus Western Highlands, we can get 9 ice trap leaves. And from gelato in the northwestern reaches of the Kurthus Western Highlands, namely on top of frozen lakes like the Bane Pool, we can get 3 gelato flesh. In the Sea of Clouds, just east of Camp Cloudtop, we can fight Dalmals for 6 Dalmal hides. And then finally, from basically any dye shop around the realm, we can get 4 terabinth. Alright, that should be enough to let us begin doing the pre-crafting. Let's see, so starting off as Carpenter, level 51, we can make 14 cedar lumber. At level 54, we can make 3 dark chestnut lumber. As a blacksmith, armor, or goldsmith at level 51, we can make 4 mithrite nuggets. And then as a blacksmith or armor at level 51, 3 mithrite rivets. At level 54 for the same 2 jobs, 3 titanium nuggets. As a leather worker at level 54, 2 Dalmal leather. As a weaver at level 54, 1 Raimi thread. As an alchemist, we can make at level 1, 3 quicksilver. At level 29, 4 linseed oil. At level 41, 4 varnish. At level 51, 3 growth formula epsilon. Also at level 51, 1 void glue. And at level 52, 10 crafts of holy water for 28 total. Finally, back to carpenter at level 52, we can make 14 holy cedar lumber. That is enough to make not only all of the regular crafts we're making for today, but also the collectible we're going to be making as well. So I will be back in just a bit after I finished up my crafting, and we will go ahead in that collectible and check out our new gear that we've crafted. Alright, finished up the crafting of our main items. We'll get to the collectible in just a minute. And looks like we're getting item level 133 weapons for our combat jobs now. Nice, so these are going to start surpassing the turn 13 weapons we got a while back. So that is very nice. I'll go ahead and stick these into my armory chest. I'm not going to worry too much about materia melding, since I'm not really using the A Realm Reborn jobs for the Heavensward playthrough for the most part. I'll eventually start melding up weapons and armor for the A Realm Reborn jobs, but I'm going to focus my materia on the jobs that I'm actually using for the main story. Alright, we also got item level 90 tools. We got the Goldsmith secondary tool, Weaver secondary tool, and we got some new accessories, item level 90, 80, 70, and 70, so that's going to be some nice upgrades all around. Big thing I'm going to want to figure out is how do I want to do the melds? Yeah, I think that should be upgrades for all of our accessories. Except the earrings. But yeah, let me go ahead and figure out how I want to meld these, and I'll be back in a little bit to show that off. Alright, I am back with my new melds ready. I kind of regret the way I went about this. I didn't really put enough thought into it before I started melding. What I want to be doing, and what I need to remember to do from now on, is to max out CP as much as possible, because crafting points are super, super important. And then after that, try to meld control and craftsmanship to keep those two sets about equal. Mostly because I don't really have any other guidelines to follow at the moment. Since we are in such old crafting content right now. And we are likely going to stay in outdated crafting content for a long time. So like, that's a guideline I can set for myself at least. And keeping them about equal will generally mean we're going to hit probably all the tiers necessary, since both craftsmanship and control have tiers you need to hit in order to do some of the endgame crafting for each expansion. But I'll worry about fixing it as we get to next gear sets. I'm not too worried about it. I'm a little annoyed that I went in with like no thought, but I also started working on melding these. I will figure out exactly how I want to do them. So that was Goldsmith? Yeah. I can pull the material off of that. Let me finish up melding the secondary tools, and then we'll go ahead and do the collectible crafting. Alright, I ran out of material to meld the, to meld my Weaver secondary tool, but I did get pentameld on the Goldsmith tool. So I went with control points +4 and then a whole bunch of control in order to get that control up as much as possible. Yeah, control points are max, crafting points are max, control is almost entirely max. That's probably going to be the best bet. That puts me at, with the secondary tool, 550 and 513 craftsmanship and control, which is pretty dang good. But there needs to be improvements, and I'll work on that eventually. Alright, now let's finish off today with our collectible. Our collectible for today is, I think we've already done the rarefied cedar fishing log, so the next would be the Rarefied Holy Cedar Spinning Wheel. Alright, let's go ahead and craft that. And then as soon as my macro craft is complete, we can go ahead and hand it in for a whole bunch of script, and that'll supply me a bunch more material that I need for my melding. Awesome. Collectible Appraiser, what will you give me for this spinning wheel? 54 script, it looks like. That is something at least. Alright, awesome. I'll go ahead and keep tinkering with my melds off screen. And next time on Final Fantasy XIV, I believe we are doing more main story as we are finally learning what Moglin has decided is our fate, as we are trying to make our way to find Hraesvelgr so we can end the war between Dravanian and Ishgardian. And then after that, we're going to be doing more crafting later this week, and then a seasonal event is coming up as well. I will see everyone next time for that.